This goes out to the whole PCP, little thin-skinned crew, please no bully. Follow commenter rules and keep our egos intact, because we're sick of endless jest always being attacked. Well, I got news for you bitches, there's a bully in the building, ready to drop bombs on all you little children.
Let's get started. I already did an intro of sorts on this on my How Not to Brony channel, and I'm keeping the original content over there. Feel free to give it a peek, it's worth a giggle. One more thing before we get rolling, go check out my top 10 must-see YouTube channels over on Fanon Frenzy. It's also another reason why last week's How Not to Brony was diminutive in size. I just wanted to share with the fans the 10 best wastes of time on the web, and I say that affectionately. Let's cover the Rion Rhino MIlls drama first. I have a lot of fond memories of Rion Rhino MIlls, and a lot of those memories include reasonable conversations with give and take and understanding. While sometimes our actions do contradict each other, sometimes you have to bend your morals a little, especially when you have so many friends that you're trying to keep happy. Friendship, at least to me, whenever I can manage it, is entirely worth it. Sometimes you do have to cut ties with some friends because they end up hurting too many people that you really value. But we're going to talk about Digi and Mumkey Jones and the Procrastinator podcast later in this episode. So one of the reasons why I wanted to believe that Ryan's heart here...
How the SuperFunnyBros game works is I'm going to open up his Twitter and see how long it takes for me to find a tweet about SJWs.
Oh, already won. What is SuperFunnyBros' Twitter again? What is it?
He changed it, actually.
The fuck
He changed his name, it's not SuperFunnyBros. Yeah, it's Smartass Birb now.
What the hell kind of name is that?
Bad.
Not a good one.
Like, just call him stupid.
Ooh. I call him father.
Stupid fuck my ass.
Stupid funny bros.
Dude, Susie was
Stupid unfunny bros, am I right?
Daily reminder, black people are not oppressed.
Oh!
Maybe Super Funny Bros was a mistake.
What?
Maybe. Just maybe.
was in a good place was from a statement that Ryan told me in private, that during the Super Funny Bros drama, here, let me grab a clip from the LCC channel that's supported and explained by Youngblood Fantasy 91.
We raised around $2,000 for the GoFundMe. Super Funny Brothers took $300 for a psych evaluation related to his TSA job. Bailey and I approved of it because he told us ahead of time. His parents threatened to report Super Funny Brothers to the police if he did not shut down the GoFundMe, but that was his own fault because he told his parents about it, and he made the GoFundMe without telling Bailey or I first. And even then Bailey was opposed to the idea initially. Because of this, the money was kept in an account separate from everything, but afterward, Super Funny Brothers informed us the money disappeared because he spent it on things related to work and his home life. Super Funny Brothers agreed to pay us back in small increments, around $20 a month. Super Funny Brothers claims he didn't steal the money, but if anything, he misappropriated it, because he spent it on things he should not have, and he should have kept the money separate. He also lied about the whereabouts for weeks before telling Bailey, as he was afraid of Bailey's reaction.
Ryan had told me the reason for holding off on publicly smacking the living shit out of Super Funny Bros for boosting what we used to think was $400, which ended up being closer to $2,000, was it endangered Youngblood Fantasy and potentially call into questions Hobbes' credibility, and he didn't wish to give Hobbes' enemies any fuel. I really like Hobbes, aka Youngblood Fantasy 91. I like his commentaries, I like his OC, I like his singing, and I like his piano work. I trust Hobbes extensively, and I've never been given any reason to do otherwise. Is he perfect? He's pretty damn close. So, long after Ryan and I had hit the skids as friends, and I no longer had to shut up about the Super Funny Bros embezzling matter, sorry if embezzling is the wrong word, after he misused some GoFundMe money, I shut up about it because I didn't wish to risk a potential subject that might... Oh, wait a minute. Hobbes is here talking about it publicly. Not only is he talking about it publicly, the Alt-CC is handling the topic in a fairly mature and rational manner. I'm not even seeing any name-calling. It's almost like if you present everyone with the facts after something has gone horribly wrong, instead of just leaving people to guess and make up and draw their own conclusions, things work out a lot smoother. If I were friends with Ryan, it wouldn't be impossible for me to spin the narrative that Ryan is in fact one of these guys. That Ryan doesn't go around arguing with conservatives while streaming or griefing people for opposing political opinions. To the best of my knowledge, Berg is a conservative and a right-wing pundit, and for better or for worse, that Ryan, Doodle, and company are more than aware of this, and Ryan didn't run down to fuck with him during the stream. It's possible, in an ass-backwards, highly convoluted way, when Ryan and his friends went to fuck with SuperFunnyBros, it in fact had nothing to do with any kind of politics whatsoever, and it was a masked front to take the piss out of someone who stole $2,000. And if that's the case, I'd argue that Ryan is a bit more closer to, say, Gamergate than an SJW. And as far as I'm concerned, I wish nothing but the worst for SuperFunnyBros, till he pays back every dime he took. On the other hand, why I might not give Ryan the benefit of the doubt, I want to go back to this short response Ryan did to Chambers of My Heart.
Ironically. I mean, if you're talking about the song I made about Slothboy494, I didn't tell him to leave. I told him to hate me, because I didn't like how he liked my content even though I thought he was unbearable to be around. Now, whether what I did was immature is up to debate. Honestly, I think it was a bit too spiteful, given that Silver Keyblade called me out for it on Twitter. Keyblade called me out for it on Twitter. Keyblade called me out for it on Twitter.
I and many of my peers have assumed for the longest time that when Rion Rhino MIlls grew a mangina, it was because doodle tones. But seeing as how Silver Keyblade is one of those special few from Bob who managed to survive Ryan's friend purge, wouldn't you know it that he's one of those feelings over logic types? But who is Silver Keyblade, might you ask?
So a little history lesson first. This was recorded during the Doodle Tones vs Metikor saga. To make a long story short, Metikor made a video talking about the inflation fetish on DeviantArt. Doodle was against Metikor's kink-shaming ways, so her and a few other spurgs from the CC tried to fight him on YouTube and Twitter. And as you can guess, they all failed. Metikor both beat and humiliated them all. Now when you think of the Doodle Tones vs Metikor saga, you think of names like Doodle Tones, for no good reason, Dylan Thomas, and maybe even Boonslayer if you saw his spurg out against Metikor on Twitter. But a name you don't think of is Silver. You know why you don't think of him? Because while all of his friends were being slaughtered on YouTube and Twitter, Silver was in his little safe space ranting on SoundCloud.
Oh yeah, it really is starting to add up. But let's watch a little more of Sean and Jen here to get a fuller picture.
The idea of feminism isn't to say that all men are evil, or that feminine traits are bad, or that motherhood is bad in its own right either. Keep in mind that feminism is the advocacy of women's rights for the sake of equality between sexes.
I recall calling out the CC for indulging in Foxwell for his weaselly behavior, but it seems that being a chicken shit weasel isn't just accepted in the Neo-CC, it's cherished, it's revered, it's preferred. But let's not stop there.
This let him fly under mostly everyone's radar, so he avoided being humiliated for his views. Well, let's fix that. Our edgelords have put together his speech on Metikor into a video for all of you. And we're sure you will enjoy it as much as we have.
My fellow commentators, I have seen many a thing in my lifetime as a commentator among the community. I have seen groups gangbang one person over an issue that had nothing to do with them. I have seen a man make 8 damage control videos just because one other person hurt his little fifis. I have seen many things as a commentator, but I have yet to see what is what is happening today in this very Twitter. A man known as Mr. Metikor, or as I call him, Mr. Meto Cunt.
Now, I know what you're saying, FNGR. Didn't you make 3 videos like these? One, I had the balls to put those out and keep them out, which if you're watching the current metikor drama, shame on every person in the commentary community who bitched out, privated, or took down their videos. 2, I got over it. The reason why Rion cut me off was because I went back and saw Doodle was a dumbass. And look, I'm an adult, I made my bed, I took my lumps. In retrospect, I think of the whole garbage fire as somewhat of a good funny time. Whereas Tubby Lumpkins over here is literally crying into his oatmeal, still shell-shocked because of some trolls. Oh, Silver, this is the people that Rion lets think for him, for being a bit too mean to guys like Sloth Boy. Now, you might say, well, FNGR, I could sure use a little bit more, and I do have a little bit more. If you're a Rion Rhino MIlls fan, and you're shaking your head, well, FNGR, I would cut your troublemaking ass off too. Let's be honest, Rion was never really a friend. First, ow. 2, this is Lorenzo. Full disclosure, he was in Limbo twice, and full disclosure, Kichi FIM wasn't a big fan.
Go away, 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 why is he here, why is he here, why is he here, why is he here, go away, go away, go away.
He takes a lot to get used to. He's a very acquired taste, a very specific kind of people like Lorenzo. You can ask my peers like Kichi, Rion was super fucking big on Lorenzo. He adored him. If Rion were Digi Bro, Lorenzo would be Digi's munchie. Rion talked about Lorenzo as one of his top 5 biggest friends, or at the very least close to it. It's funny, I should mention the Digi thing here because I've seen this kind of cut-off behavior somewhere before. Rion, when he drew back and made a bit for hitting the big time, started to cut people off, and it reminded me of Digi's exodus from Brony. And I don't hold that to Digi. He grew up somewhat because of that, and he turned his hard work and sacrifice into $4,000 a month. And God keep him for doing it. What was Rion's soul worth? About $117 a month, which isn't all that different from when Rion wasn't a jerk-off. There's a $30-40 difference tops. And there's one more thing. This post here about Rion's Discord. I love Patreon. I don't mind the fan Discord idea. That's not the bitch. I've talked to you when you came into Limbo, Rion, post your King of Limbo podcast. You came into my room and said you'd never do anything as tacky as charge people for the right to talk to you. So who talked you into this one? Was it Doodle or Silver Keyblade? The real moment I knew that Rion had completely abandoned any resemblance of what he used to be was when, after 2 months when Rion had cut me off, Lorenzo asked me if I could get Rion to talk to him. Now again, I'm not saying I don't know that Lorenzo isn't a handful. I know my friends didn't like him, but he wasn't my boy. But I sure as fuck wouldn't have ditched him for the likes of Doodle Tones and Silver Keyblade. You're a real despicable fuck, Rion. So let's take our pick on the 2 possible outcomes here, Rion. Either you're a star fucker, or you're some social justice warrior, or maybe it's a little column A, a little column B. I've never seen someone sell off so many people for so little. But by all means, speak up. Did you really care about any of that bullcrap that SuperFunnyBros was talking about? Did you let Silver Keyblade or Doodle cuck you into what you should think? I know the old Rion would have said hell no. The new Rion, he'll sit there around whining about systemic racism. Thank you, fuck you, bye.
Alright.
Black people are not fucking white. Oh my... Dude.
Okay.
Okay.
Black people are not...
That was
I am
odd,
beyond
though.
upset now.
There could be so much more nuance to that.
I don't even think there's any nuance. It's just wrong.
That's like...
Yeah, but I feel like if you're gonna say something, like that, at least put nuance into it.
Before we move on, some of you guys might want to hear me debate whether this was right or wrong, black oppression, currently. I'll admit I'm probably not the right guy to have that counter-argument, other than there's nothing funnier than hearing a handful of white guys whining about black rights without any sense of irony. Whereas this is my good friend Kichi FIM, who's not only black, she's from Kentucky, Rion. That means she didn't even have shoes when she was a child. She works for the motherfucking government, and she makes more money than all of you Hoover House-dwelling entitled libtards. And she got there because she didn't sit on her ass whining about her race. She worked, she studied really hard, and on top of all that, she learned to be a better fucking human being than the whole lot of you cunts. even if that's not enough, this is motherfucking Dylan Thomas, and here's a sample of his video response to Rion, link down below in the description, called My Response to Rion MIlls on Black Oppression in the US.
Rion Rhino MIlls made a complete ass of himself on Doodle's stream, having a freak out saying that black oppression did exist, listed off some random statistics but wasn't really sound because there wasn't actually anything to the statistics. He was just quoting what other people said and he didn't really have any merit behind it. Then the alt CC hopped in on this, Karome hopped in on this. It's just all shit. It's just all fucking crazy. And you guys may be wondering, yeah, I intervened on Doodle's stream and I said I was gonna go off and do my research.
Dear Mumkey.
Oh boy, everybody. Here's a video that I was hoping I would never have to make. So I was kicked out of the PCP today. And for those of you who don't know what the PCP is, feel free to click off the video. Unless you're a fan of just really petty, childish internet drama.
Hi, Mumkey. I'm a fan of really petty, childish internet drama. I was upfront with you about this fact when I asked you on my podcast. Just to let you know what the PCP is, it's the Procrastinators podcast that includes Digi Bro, Tommy Oliver, Give and Take, Ben Saint aka Fandom Horn, Nate Kegman, Munchie, and the return of Jesse Wood. Mumkey used to be in this podcast. I have something in common with Mumkey Jones. I used to be on a regular podcast with Digi Bro and it was called Pub Crawl. I, unlike Mumkey, didn't have my name removed from the participant banner. I have no ill will with Cider or Digi on that matter, because I, unlike Mumkey, understood, despite being there for a year or two, I always assumed it was a temporary arrangement. But we'll get to that in a moment.
You know, me as a fan, I didn't care who was in the right or who was in the wrong. I didn't care if John had sex with Susie. But that's the thing, though. When you don't say what happened and why you broke up, it just leaves the fans room to speculate a bunch of bullshit. And I find that annoying, and I...
So, Mumkey, who do you think you have more in common with? Who do you and Digi think you fit? Who's the Maddox and who's the Dick Masterson? For those of you who want to see more on that and what I'm talking about, try looking up The Biggest Problem in the Universe. There is a shit show of epic proportions I can't even begin to fathom, but it's definitely worth it if you can finish that wild ride.
My online friends took it upon themselves to participate in a harassment campaign against Endless Jess, composed of, I guess, posting mean comments on his videos and tweeting at him. And they bought endlessjess.com and they've made videos criticizing him and things like that.
So Endless Jess, aka Jesse Wood, is one of the most talented members of the PCP in Digi's circle of friends. Again, we'll get back to that in a minute. Here's my theory. Jesse Wood is not a durable guy. This is a fact. Super talented, super intelligent, but this is the theory part. PCP has 5 people, to the best of my understanding, for most of the podcasts. Based off of Digi's response to this, I think you saw Jesse was weak, easily breakable, and went after him to secure your shuckles, monkey. And I'm not even chewing you out for it. It was a good guess, at least based off of this interpretation of Digi. And here it is. I've seen old videos where Digi and Brony used to say, I don't even have time for really cool people, that he had to cut back and really focus on making it on YouTube. I respect that. It's why there's no hard feelings or any surprise why I was removed from Pub Crawl. Digi is at a point where the level of micromanaging is essential to his continued success. Mumkey, I think Digi either figured out what you were up to, which, again, is highly possible. You don't seem that bright after all. Or, despite Digi being success-driven, with Jesse Wood being on the low end of the creating pool right now, instead of being consistent and normally surrounding himself with productive content creators, decided to back his boy. And in your head right now, you feel that you cheated, you sabotaged Jesse, and you deserve to win. That spot on the PCP is loinfully yours, because you managed to dick Jesse out of it. Am I getting close, monkey? Am I?
He held me responsible for their actions, and there were several fights over the course of the last year in the PCP Discord chat about whether or not I am responsible for the actions of these other people. And I said several times to the harassers, some of which are my friends, hey, you know, like, cut that out. It's causing a lot of tension. It's not cool. And you can ask them, because I told them that several times. I even convinced them to give Endless Jess back the domain website. So, like, I was actively helping to combat these harassers.
As someone who on occasion hung out with my fair amount of shitlords, if not in Brony, but in the commentary community, bullshit. As someone who's hung out with trolls and dickheads, those people likely bragged to you, mumkey, what they did to Jess. And either you were in on it, or because they were your boys, you laughed about it, you yucked it up, you had a chuckle. And I'm gonna let my fans in on a little secret. A long time ago, when I was in the PFC, the Pony Fuckcast, there was a time where a lot of people in there were chanting at my friend Stardust Rape. I was at work, I was tired, and at the time, the first moment when they did it, I giggled a little bit. Because I'm a shitty human being, and I did stop eventually, and I made things right. I sided with her over them. I did the right thing. Whereas Sheldon, aka Shelly D, went up to Stardust and told her to shut the fuck up. You're probably more of a shut the fuck up guy, aren't you, mumkey? There comes a point where you gotta choose, and by your own volition, the PCP gave you a year. Digi Bro, easily one of the most impatient men I know when it comes to drama, well, if he's not making it, gave you a fucking year to get your shit together. You thought you were a little too cool to be parted with. You thought that you were one of the boys. But here's the thing, mumkey. You're not one of Digi's inner ex-Brony circle friends. We'll get back to that. Despite all Digi's hatred for Brony, without any sense of irony that Digi's part of the Just Us League, and you, mumkey, will always be the radio editor of the PCP. Don't believe me? Look at where you are now. You're a radio nigger guy with nigger radio fans. Mumkey, you know what your cutie mark would be? A bucket of chicken.
And I certainly did not, as much as I stand up for free speech, and I definitely do, I was avidly against, or I guess adamantly against what they were doing to Jess. Mostly because it was making things tense in the PCP chat, and I just wanted to be left out of it.
Do you feel good about sticking by your nigger radio edit, mumkey? Are radio edit nigger fans gonna put money in your pocket? Are they gonna give you views? Hell, I bet if they're watching your videos, they're doing it on ad block.
But that wasn't enough, and I guess he decided that he hates me so much that he can't be in the PCP if I'm in there, because I guess I am friends with these people, and because I guess my fan base is known for being a harassing type of group. So he left the PCP months ago at this point, probably 2 or 3 months ago. And I guess today they all held a secret meeting with Jess without notifying me, without giving me an opportunity to go in there and defend myself and explain things from my point of view.
Again, have you studied Digi in the time that you've known him? This somehow, someway, was a surprise. How many people in Digi's circle in the history of any of this have put up with anyone remotely like you? It's almost like you're an autistic spurg who thinks if he's confident enough, he can get away with anything.
But I guess since I'm out of the group, I am not really going to pursue any future, I guess, internet endeavors with those people. Which means the insufferable social media argument podcast is now also over.
And you got snapped back to reality. Didn't it hurt, mumkey? Now, I will agree with you on this. The only way you were going to stick it to Digi, and sadly I must admit, I'm not bitter enough or talented enough to do this, but the only way you could get back at Digi is to take the choice away from Digi. He claims in his videos that he'd finish it up with you, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is bullshit. If you asked Digi, he'd just say sure, and then shut up and act like you're the asshole if you made another video calling him out on it, if he decided to bail. So yeah, if you wanted to be bitter, this is the only way that you could slam the door in Digi's face.
I'm sure that we're gonna get some sort of retaliation explanation that I guess somehow paints me as being evil, even though almost every single person in the PCP agrees that I did nothing wrong, and I know that I did nothing wrong. But they just they got to kowtow to the demands of a demander.
This is Fat Man Falling. He's one of your patrons. He gives you money. He was on that podcast that you blew me off in. Are you a fan of the now infamous Mumkey Jones?
Yes, I am a fan of Mumkey Jones.
Oh boy, are we gonna have fun
I am
now.
supporting him on Patreon, in fact.
Oh boy, Ninja. You know where my next question's going. So anyways, if I could impose, if I could encourage, if I could request your thoughts and views on the recent unceremonious heaving from the PCP, aka the Procrastinators Podcast, what do you think?
Honestly, if it encourages Jesse to come back, I would have kicked everyone out of the PCP.
That surpasses a Teriyaka. What's the guy from DBZ?
Akira Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama. I just remember there's this one guy on YouTube who calls it the Akira Toriyama hand job. I'm like, that just blew away the Akira Toriyama hand job.
We support the official release.
Indeed. Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mumkey. He's great, but like nobody, I don't think anybody really compares to Jesse. And if taking Mumkey out would bring Jesse back, I'm okay with that.
Okay. No, that's you know what? From completely a fan standpoint, you sidestepped all my criticism. Did you hear that, Mumkey? Even the people who give you money would stomp over you to talk to Jesse. I know it's not right. And the truth is, in a world affair, you wouldn't get fucked like this. Using your cheaty friends, you deserve to win because you outsmarted them all, didn't you, Mumkey? You broke Jess, and those, by George, should have been your friends. Only, you're not an ex-Brony, Mumkey, and you never will be. And you know what, Mumkey? That's why you're not in there. You're some meme kid, some cringy meme kid with a bunch of 4chan spaghetti radio edits. And it hurts, cause for a little bit that you thought you were one of the boys. Now, there is a shit ton of retarded things with Digi's video, so let's take a look.
God fucking damn it, Mumkey. Why did you do this? Why did you put me in this position? You motherfucker. Why would you do this? Why would you do this, you fucking idiot?
Dear Digi, why, I can make fun of Mumkey's video for not understanding who he was dealing with. Digi, if you believe Mumkey was unreasonable of all your precious headaches with Mumkey's fans, why are you surprised? If you didn't think it's Mumkey's fault, then you just admitted you fucked him over for my feels. I'll be honest, that's what's going on in this video, Digi. And I hate Mumkey Jones. Before I ever contacted him. Don't believe me? You can go talk to Not a Poker Chip Napsy, that's Asher. Can confirm that I thought Mumkey was a piece of shit. This isn't revisionist history, because he blew me off. I only wanted to talk to him because this was sweet, sweet drama. And even with hating Mumkey, and knowing he's a piece of shit, this video did, Digi, is complete fucking garbage.
Mumkey put out a video why he was kicked from the PCP. Mumkey was kicked from the PCP today, and he frames everything flippantly and incorrectly, including outright lies, such as that he was kicked from the Insufferable Social Media Argument podcast by way of being kicked from the PCP, even though I explicitly told him that I would do the last 2 episodes with him if he was up for it. If you don't want to do it, Mumkey, that's your fucking problem. That's you being an emotional piece of shit about your abandonment issues over me kicking you out of the PCP, which
Digi, really? This video, Digi, is you being an emotional piece of shit without any sense of self-awareness. Mumkey said he chose to leave the other podcast. Yes, he said that. It was his choice. And then said, I guess I'm kicked out of too. Your big gotcha moment here is open ass, Digi. It's not like Mumkey said it. He was kicked from the social media argument podcast on the start of a 5-minute video and then buried it somewhere at the end. He said it literally seconds where he chose to opt out. It was a joke about it. There is no lie here. And this is coming from a guy who wants to publicly fucking crucify Mumkey.
I did kick Mumkey out. I was voting against him staying in for a vast multitude of reasons that I will now get into. The biggest of which is bringing Jesse back, but this was not Jesse's idea, per se. Jesse merely stated that if Mumkey was gone, he would come back, and that opened the conversation up again. But I was completely willing to do the last 2 episodes of ISMA. I even thought it would be really funny if our slow-motion suicide was this particular grievance, but you fucked it up.
Dear Digi, did you think maybe treating Monkey in such a way, if you thought he was really as immature as you're trying to frame him as, was a good move. And this is Digi's problem. If you're not in Digi's super secret kids club, he kind of treats you like a pleb, which I'm fine with, because I adore the man's work. But most people, Digi, they're not cool with that. In this video, you don't understand that you're being a giant asshole.
In Monkey's case, we all really liked his content, and he's really easy to work with. Monkey has an amazing work ethic. He's, you know, a fairly funny guy. He's easy to work with. He will always show up on time, which is something I can't even give Jesse credit for. You know, so, like, there are advantages to having Monkey around. And don't let me act like I have no grievances with Jesse in any of this, but Jesse's the victim in this situation, and Monkey trying to frame it as though this is all Jesse's fault is extremely disingenuous. So, Monkey is friends with a group of people who are trolls, outright. That is what they do for fun. They actively troll people. Mr. Meatman, Cream Man, Princess Natlord, Bedhead Brony. There's probably more. Those are the names. These are the people you should be banning from your communities. Do not let them in your Discord servers. They are bad people. They're probably going to come after me now because I said that. I don't give a fuck. Don't talk to them. They are trolls. They actively seek communities to fuck with people, and I'll get into some of the ways that they do that later. So these people are friends with Monkey. And
This right here is where Digi loses his whole fucking argument. On time and reliable, if I had a best friend who showed up late all the time and wanted me to kowtow to him nonstop versus someone who was on time and reliable, which I can tell you Monkey is not, he's a nick. Radio editor. I have an example. Aeon of Dreams is a super cool guy. He's come around for the best of my guests on my podcast. He'll make an appearance. He'll descend down from Mount Olympus and grace me with his presence. If I had a regular guy, as opposed to Aeon, that Peter hated, I would tell him straight up to go fuck himself. And that's not from a lack of loyalty. I brought Aeon on the pub crawl. I told Digi to his face, if you don't like this guy, get fucked. You have to back reliable friends. Jesse, from what I can see, is the Ed from Shaun of the Dead, Nick Frost. We all agree he's the more fun guy. But was he the right move? I think that's the thing that Digi sort of misses here. It's one thing to back your friends. It's a whole nother to do so publicly and do another drama video you completely suck dick at doing.
I thought it would be healthiest for Jesse to leave the internet, and if Jesse's leaving, Monkey might as well stay. But if Jesse wants to come back, Monkey can go. That's how I've always seen it from the start. When I went to Jesse's house, I told him, you tell us kick Monkey, we kick Monkey. And he said, you don't have to kick Monkey. I'll leave. Because Jesse saw it as a betrayal on his friend's part that we were supporting Monkey at all. He saw it as, shouldn't the fact that I'm emotionally damaged by this be enough for you to kick him? And I don't disagree with that. I'm on board with Jesse. The only reason I didn't say let's kick Monkey for Jesse's sake is that I thought it would be better for Jesse to leave the internet, and he didn't seem like he wanted to be in the PCP. I wanted to be able to work with you in the future, and I hope we still can. I hope that all of this blows over and you just get over it. Cause
Digi tells Monkey's trolls to ignore Jesse, and just to fuck with Digi instead. I've shown this video to the best trolls I've known, who will remain nameless. Would you go after Digi because he asked you to, or keep hitting the friend that you know bothers him? It's the perfect 7-10 split. If you hate Digi, which Digi roadmapped in the video, the best way to fuck with him is to go after Jesse.
Monkey, but Jesse was not comfortable with Monkey around, you know, and we want Jesse because he's a he is the founding member of this fucking podcast. Jesse is the PCP because—
Are you fucking retarded, Conrad? And there it is, Digi. You hate everything from back in the day and still treat this as sacred. You even assed off about Brony to Mumkey. Let's grab a clip.
Yeah, I mean, BronyCon's the convention that I went to with a bunch of, me and my friends all had water bottles full of gin, and, like, I was shit-faced for the whole con, and no one will notice. Like, it's a fucking— It's like the streets of LA as a convention. Like, everyone's fucked up in their own unique way, and everyone's just, like, literally dying. Like, it's a place you go to watch people die in real time, essentially.
Wow!
In pony costumes. It's awesome. I got on stage. I got to—
I could go on and play the footage where tried the revisionist history of his last BronyCon. I don't even have to argue that Digi was full of shit because I have the pub crawl where he hyped up the whole thing like it was magical. Congratulations, Digi, after years and years and years of making sure that all your weeaboos didn't respect bronies, it finally bit you in the fucking ass. Who would have thunk it? Also, you're full of shit. The PCP was founded by Nate Kegman. I know so, because he fucking told me back in the day. It was not made by Jess.
Contributes to something wrong. A comedic style that contributes to something wrong. And being associated with that is bad for our brand. It's bad for business. It's bad for friendship. It's bad because Jesse doesn't feel comfortable with him around to the point that he left the PCP. And
Digi, having someone around who falls apart because of trolls is bad for fucking business. I say this with all due and complete respect. If you can't handle trolls, Jesse should not be on the internet. Or, if he is, I suggest he upload and never look at the comments movie Bob style. The way you frame this video, you make Jesse seem like he is the biggest glass-jawed candy ass I've ever heard of. You made Jesse sound like Lily Pete and Chives on steroids.
Monkeys fans come after me now, by the way. Fuck Jesse, I'm your new bad guy. Fuck with me, cause I can deal.
Do you even have any idea how much damage you did by spotlighting this? You have any idea how much splashing and how much you rang the dinner bell in this video, which would be tailor-made to wreck Jesse, and by extension you? Any troll worth their salt will see this and go straight for him.
And painting yourself as the victim in a scenario where you are not the victim. And don't try to act like I canceled ISMA when I fucking told you I'd do the last 2 episodes. And I still will if you want to. Peace!
If anyone believes this, they're the biggest sucker in the world and their money is always welcomed at any poker table I'm with. Bullshit. It's not that these videos aren't fun, Digi. It's not that they're not good drama. You absolutely positively suck at them. And this was me with super kid gloves. I could have gone through this by second and tore the fuck out of this complete tism storm. I'll tell you this. I wouldn't want Digi making a video defending me or my friends. I'd be fucking horrified. Good night.